Hi friends, this is Andrea at Snow Cabin Crafts coming at you with another paper pumpkin alternative. If you don't know what paper pumpkin is, it's a monthly crafting experience with Stampin' Up! And you can order a recurring monthly subscription. You can get just 1 month. You can do recurring months and start when you want. You can prepay a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription and receive a discount by doing that. And you can still stop and start, so you don't need to get, say, all 6 months in a row. As long as you update your wishes by the 10th of the month, that will either get you the kit for that month or you will skip that kit. If you want to know more, email me at snowcabincrafts@gmail.com so I can answer your questions, because I believe most of you are probably here because you're searching for paper pumpkin alternatives. As I explained previously, I've been traveling a lot. I have a lot of boxes piling up at home. I chose not to stop my subscription because I love getting paper pumpkin and I love making lots of cards and I love giving cards. So I took a quick break in between trips and put together a bunch of kits. And yes, paper pumpkin is a kit. You don't have to do anything to it, but I added more paper and embellishments and took, I don't know, I think it's 9 cards out of this month, and I turned those into 24 cards. So a little bit of work gets you a lot more cards. What will you do with all those cards? Well, send them out. Give them to friends, give them to family, put them in the mail, send them to strangers. There are groups on Facebook that are looking for cards for shut-ins. I have sent boxes of hundreds of cards to these places. I have sent singletons. Somebody needs a pick-me-up. A card is a perfect paper hug. So get those cards in the mail. All right, so I don't want to spend too much more time talking about that. We're looking at Daisy Daydream from March 2025 this time. So the first card here, this one, oh, we're getting some glare from the light here. Let's see if I can fix that without wreaking too much havoc. I did this card as is. I loved it. I was having a hard time seeing how I would split it apart. I could have done something different with this little circle here, but it would have been hard to break up everything on this card. And as I said, I just absolutely loved the look of this card anyway. So I went and I made that as is. I did change the sentiment, which, hello, you can do that. I generally need birthday, thank you, and just friendship / thinking of you cards. Sometimes I need sympathy cards, unfortunately. I do need get well cards from time to time. But I put some thought into the sentiments of each card as I make them, and it's like, where am I at on my birthday stash? Where am I at on these other things? So I just love this card. I went with it the way it was, and I love how they turned out. I did add the gold faceted adhesive back sequins to this as an embellishment, and I did that for all the cards that I made here. All right, so that one as is, only the sentiment changed and embellishments added. For this card, I cut apart the flowers. These die cuts came kind of, I think it was like 3 and 3 like that. And I cut them apart and I changed the sentiment and I quartered the card. So the card was this blue all the way around. So again, cut that in half, cut it in half again to quarter it. And this is the first one that I came up with. All right, actually that is the only one that I came up with. So here you can see I kind of cut the flower apart there. Again, I changed the sentiment. I did that honeycomb stamp, which I love. And there are my embellishments. And I am spacing on the blue, but I can look that up, and that's going to be Lost Lagoon, and that's going to be Darling Duckling. And a lot of times what I do when I am figuring out how I am going to, what I want to do with these, is I will make my notes right on the instructions So let's see. I didn't say what, okay, because this is from the card, so that's why. I want to say boho blue, but I don't think that's right. But anyway, this was from the card itself, and then that Lost Lagoon base and crushed curry. Okay, and then yes, I even told myself cut the flowers in thirds, because I think things through and I figure out what I want to do, and then I have to go back and try to remember what it was that I had in mind. All right, so that is the second card. And then this third card, you have kind of these flowers are printed on the front, but then they also give you a bunch of flowers as die cuts. But you do have a printed bouquet on the front. And so what I did with that was, well, you know me by now, I cut it in half and I cut it in half again. So this is the card front quartered, or, you know, cut in half, but I cut the card in half and then I cut that in half. There's my embellishments, old olive base, and I'm spacing on my colors today. So I'm thinking I actually switched, and that is the crushed curry, and the other one was the darling duckling. And looking to see really quickly if I actually wrote that down. And okay, I'm saying yes, that is crushed curry. The other yellow was darling duckling. All right, so, but this, like I said, sorry. This part is the printed base from here. And then some, I split up, divided up the die cuts from various cards, so I really only have one on each of the final cards that I made. And then they had some labels and other ones I just cut from scrap paper and stamped in old olive as well. So that's one version of the card from here using the front. So I was able to make several cards that way. And then the back of the card was just this honeycomb print. The flower bouquet was just on the front. The honeycomb print was the back of the card. So took that back of the card, quartered it, used the die cuts, and there were enough bees to scatter around to my various cards and my sequins. And I used a basic black background here to touch off of our bee, and same thing with the crushed curry to just kind of pick up those colors. So adding to my stash of thank you cards. And wrapping some twine around it to finish it off. So those are the cards for the March 2025. And like I said, if you have any questions, email me at snowcabincrafts@gmail.com. I will try to get some links up too. Like I said, I'm traveling and it just kind of depends on what I am able to do and when I'm able to do it. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.